All right, I'm going to get started. We have two new people in the class. My name's Jeff Scott. I'm the instructor. Okay. Devin and Josh here are the new students. Just so you know, that's Evan, that is Andrew, Jesse, Tony. Ryan is left, but he'll be back in just a little bit, and Matthew. All right? Yeah, there'll be a quiz later. All right. So, just so you guys are all aware of this, you guys have heard this, but they're really getting on us about this. Is what I'm supposed to be doing is the first day of class always is taking attendance. All right, so this is the attendance, just so you see it. All right, and when I take it, if you're here, of course, it's present. And if you're absent, there's two different kinds of absence. So let's say that Evan knows he's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and he said, I'll even show you the doctor's thing after I get done. I can't get out of it, etc. That'll be an excused absence. But you've got to provide proof. Again, these are Rankin's policies. They're not my policies. All right. On the other hand, you wake up, Jesse wakes up, and he says, man, it's cold outside. I'm just staying home today. All right. That's not an excused absence. All right. But things happen, and I get that. And we'll go over that whole thing. Now, what you may or may not know, probably I didn't tell you this last semester, you're allowed 3 tardies. After that, every tardy actually goes into the book as an absence. And a tardy is if you get here, I try to be a little liberal. Sometimes traffic is bad, etc. But if you're here within 5 minutes or so after class starts. The other thing, too, is you're not supposed to leave before class is over. All right. Now, if something comes up, etc., that's different. I understand. All right. And, I mean, it's worse in my afternoon class, the second-year people, because the class ends at 4:25. And I've got 2 or 3 of them that literally, and I'm not exaggerating, sit there with all their stuff in their hands at 4:20 in front of the door for 5 minutes. All right? And they're like, I just got to get out of here. A couple of them have got to get to work, so I understand it. They have to get out because literally they leave and go right to work. I get that. All right, but just so you know that. Now, if you do go out to Inside Rankin, just so you know, and I'm going to go into the student view here. So if you go out to Inside Rankin, and the stuff for the class, and this is my view, but this should be at least your view of what's out there. So if you want information on the class, I'm not going to read any of this stuff to you. I hate that. Again, we had our in-service meeting last Thursday, okay? And during that time, there were several presentations. And one of the presenters literally read off the PowerPoints. Boom, turn around, and sat there and read, and I don't do that. I think people in here will tell you that. In fact, I don't do PowerPoints. How do I get around that? I'll show you that in a minute. But if you want information, that's the information on me. And actually, even though it says my office hours are 7 to 8, I'm usually in the room here at 6 o'clock every morning. All right. If for some reason you ever do want to come in early and work or whatever, it's not a problem. Also, this class ends at 11:55, so usually by the time I get out of here, it's closer to noon. My next class starts literally at 12:25, but I put 12 to 12:30 in there. All right? Okay. This is the book right here, if you have not seen it before. And we went through this last semester. I didn't realize it. I wanted you to have the latest and greatest, which is the 2017 book. Unknown to me, all right, we had to do our book orders literally a year ago, and the new book wasn't available at that time. Since that was published out on the school's website, the federal government does not allow you to change books. Even though it's the same book by the same author, just a new edition, it doesn't matter. So we have to use this one, and it'll be fine. All right? There's a newer version of Visual Studio out there, but we'll just use this one. It's not a big thing. It really and truly is not. Now, if you're interested, and I sent you an email, you all got an email from me this morning, but if you click the link that's on here, I have my own YouTube playlist. And for this class, so far, I've got 36 videos out there. What I did on my own is there's your PowerPoints. So I'm not going to go over the PowerPoints that are in the book, but if you want to see them, you can. And, as an example, we're going to go through chapter 1 in just a bit. But if you look at this, Okay, so it's my voice and the computer. All right. So that's what you got this morning. I sent you that URL. Plus, if you haven't already done it, you're going to have to go out here, or as Josh did, out to cnet.com. You're going to have to find Visual Studio 2015 Community Edition and load that on your machine. All right? It's free because it's the Community Edition. It'll be more than sufficient for what we're doing. If you haven't done it, you may want to do it right now because it's kind of a pig. And it may take anywhere. Is you're still downloading, or did it finish?
I think it's done downloading.
Okay. Okay. It can take anywhere up to 45 minutes. All right. Here, it depends on your connection, but I want us to actually create a bunch of programs today. Okay. I mean, I literally want us to get started. This is very hands-on, and you might say, well, yeah, we got that last semester. No, this is going to be more hands-on than last semester was. All right. Because the faster that I can get you where you've got a comfort level with using this stuff, the better off we all are. And then the more lab time that you get. And I'm of the mindset that where you're really going to learn is in labs when you're trying to do things. All right? We will do some labs from the book. We will do some other stuff too, just so you know. All right. You'll see that occasionally. That's my granddaughter. All right. Yeah, I changed the picture. Bless you. So again, as far as the information that's in here, like I said, that's my info. Now, I'm not going to read this, but if you read it, this is what you're supposed to be getting out of the class. At the 9-week point in class, which is somewhere in March, I don't know when, but it's somewhere in March, Shannon Bruggeman is going to be coming in here just like she did last semester with all of you, and she's going to be doing course evaluations. All right? I think she does them at 9 weeks and at 17. I don't know. But you'll be able to evaluate the work that I'm doing. Now, these course level outcomes, again, this is the stuff that you're supposed to be learning in this class. One thing that we're going to do, not today, but fairly soon, probably next week, is you're going to be learning Git, if you don't know what Git is. Git is what's known as a version control system. It's not hard to use. And it's literally built into Visual Studio. So once we've got it set up, all you'll have to do is click a couple buttons and boom, it'll do the work for you. All right? All right. So again, I'm not going to go through that because this is a rehash of a lot of the stuff that's in the book. All right. As far as policies go, and I should do this, I just don't want... close that so you don't keep hearing that beep. All right. Attendance, again, many of you have heard this already. We meet 5 days a week. The way that Rankin is set up is you are allowed to miss the number of days the class meets plus 1. So you can miss up to 6 times. After you miss the 3rd time, the 4th time, I've got literally a sheet of paper that'll have your name on it that you have to sign. And all it says is that Jeff said to me, hey, I missed 4 times now. Okay? If you miss again, you get the same piece of paper, but you've got to go to Charles Corrigan, who's in the next room. He's the chairman of the department, and he's got to sign the sheet. If you miss again, that's the 6th time, you again get the same sheet. You have to go over to the other building and talk to Jeremy Sutton, who's the site director. If you miss again, I'm supposed to kick you out of the class. Now, I don't want to do that. Now, if there's mitigating circumstances, you miss because you got into a car accident or whatever, and you let me know, we'll get that changed. All right? But again, if you think, if you get kicked out of class for absences, and that's the biggest reason people get kicked out here, just so you know, is because of absences. You can always go and you can say, hey, I'm going to fight this, and you can. If you want to fight it, you don't do it here. You've got to go to St. Louis. And there's something called the ADRB, which is the Academic Discipline Review Board. And you've got to state your case in front of them. And then they decide whether or not you're allowed to stay in the class or you have to leave the class. Okay? All right. As it says, the class meets until 11:55, so please stay here until then. I already told you about the absences. Charles is different than I am. all right, in a lot of ways. But one way that he's different, he only allows for two reasons for excused absences. One of them is that you have a job interview for an IT job. Okay, good. So for one of them, thank you. You have an IT interview. For the other one is you're going to like an IT job fair or something like that. All right. For him, there isn't any other one. You know, I had a student whose grandfather died during the semester. He didn't want me to excuse it. I said, well, I am. Because it's always under the discretion of the instructor. All right. But I have somebody who's in a second-year student. There's somebody in their family who's got a medical condition, and they had to miss quite a bit. So they had several excused absences. All right. Again, if you have an absence and you want to make sure it's excused, just get me a doctor's excuse if that's where you are. All right. Academic honesty, you're not expected to cheat. That's just as simple as I can put it. What you'll know, this is again, especially for those of you in here, we have two types of tests. We have written tests, which are basically you'll get about 30 or so multiple choice questions. Those are closed book, closed notes. You'll also have what are called HOTS or hands-on tests. That's totally open. The only thing is I will walk around. What I don't want is if I gave you a C# test and do this. If I see that you're Googling how to do this where somebody else has written the code, that's not considered legal. All right, that's never been an issue. So, the grading, just so you know, Rankin does not give any minus grades. It gives a B+ and a C+ grade, but that right there is literally, that's the breakdown. And the way that Rankin works is if you get a D or an F in the class, you can't continue on to the next class until you have retaken this class. Again, not my rules, Rankin's rules. Was not an issue for anyone in here. Just so you all know, probably the last time I'll mention it this semester, Chris's injuries were quite severe. When he had his accident last semester, he's undergoing rehab. He's not going to be back this semester. All right, from what I hear, I don't think he can even walk right now. So that's the student who got into a car accident right before the end of the semester. This is a workload table, and in essence, what it's telling you is that you're going to have to spend time out of class in order to get everything done. Now, is that true? I think, you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, I gave you quite a bit of lab time last semester, and you'll get probably that amount this semester. But people get this at different rates. Ryan might get it right away. All right, Evan might take a little longer. It doesn't matter. It's not a race. All right, but some of you may have to do some work outside of class here. All right. Now, for some reason, and this is a template that I'm using in here. If you notice here, I can't literally go in there and change those numbers. So what I wrote here was this is erroneous. It's 20% for homework and labs, 70% for tests, and 10% for your portfolio. All right. I tried making changes to it. It just wouldn't let me do it. So, all right. If you have any questions on anything that I can't answer about the protocol for the school, about whatever, if you need to buy a Rankin shirt, which I see you do, all right, etc., that kind of thing. The dress code around here, just so you're all aware of it, you have to wear a Rankin shirt like this. All right, not my rule, okay? It's Rankin's rule. All right. Now, for the two of you who are new, at 9 o'clock, you're going to be going over to the other building, and you have to sit and listen to an hour's worth of a lot of the stuff I'm already telling you. But they make you do it, and all new students are going to be there. So it won't be just you two. There could be upwards of 30 or 40 students there, just so you know. All right. Again, if it's going to be interesting this semester, if any of you think you're falling behind, if you're like, Jeff, I'm really trying, but I don't get this stuff, come to me right away. I will try to see if I can get you one of the students who's in the second year, if they can work with you and be like your electronic tutor. Most of them have got jobs, and I don't mean so much in the field, but they've got jobs. I know Colin, for example, is an assistant manager at McDonald's. All right, and I know that Tiffany, she works for some restaurant, I think in O'Fallon. But what I'm telling you is I've got students who may be able to work with you if you fall behind, but they'd probably do it electronically with you, where you'd be sending emails and code and stuff back and forth. All right? But let me know when you know. If any of you have any kind of disability you want me to know about, let me know. All right? When you take your tests, let's say for a second, and I don't think it's true, but let's say that Matthew comes up to me and says that he's got ADHD. Okay? And if he does, he can actually take up to 4 hours to do the written test. I think you guys will agree, most people do the written test and they take less than a half an hour. All right? In fact, within an hour, not only have you taken them, but I've already graded them, they're in the grade book, and I've given them back to you. All right? So that's usually not any kind of an issue. Also, more case of a year from now, but career services. You may start getting emails from somebody at Rankin that tells you about jobs that are available in the field that you're in. All right, that's more for second year students, but I don't know if they send them out to everybody or not. All right. Snow days and emergencies. Hopefully you all got that, and if you didn't, for the new people, I will send out that email to you. But you can sign up under the Inside Rankin portal to get messages in case the school were to close. We closed one day last year during the winter because that's when we had that ice storm. So we closed that day. That was it. All right. I was even talking to Charles with all of the stuff that was going on this weekend. Supposedly we're supposed to get that ice storm yesterday. I said, is there any chance we won't have classes today? And he's like, I don't even want to think about that. All right. But you never know. So if you sign up under the Inside Rankin portal, there'll be a thing where they'll send you text messages, etc. The school's policy is if they close, they don't put it on the radio, they don't put it on the TV. You get notified. All right? So you should be able to go out to Inside Rankin, even if you're not set up. If you go out to InsideRankin.org, there should be a message up in the right-hand corner that says classes are canceled. All right? All right. Now, I'm not going to run through this, but literally what we have in here for the rest of this, you'll notice that I'm on page 4 of 19, is I run through everything, all right, that is we're doing every day of class. Now, do I stick to it 100%? As best I can. All right? This is my hope, just so you know. This is my hope. My hope is that this week, by the end of this week, we will have actually gone through the first 3 chapters of the book. And you might say, geez, that's, pretty hard, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot of basic stuff. There's not really hardly anything even worth testing you on in chapter 1. All right? But we will be, by the time, let me tell you why I want to do it this way. I want to go through the first 3 chapters this week, the second 3 chapters next week. Then we slow it way down. We have 8 chapters left in the book, then we do a week for each chapter. The goal is by the end of week 10, we'll be done with this book. Then we're going to go into database stuff, all right, and we will be doing that for the rest of the semester. There is no book for that. I'll give you online resources. But again, I'm not going to run through this. I know that Shannon is going to probably come in. She may come in this semester and sit and watch me, all right, because they always have to go in with instructors and evaluate them. But I'm supposed to actually do this every day where I say, okay, today's day 1, this is what we're doing. All right. I always look at it that you could read that yourselves, but I'm still supposed to do it anyway. So I probably don't do as good a job of it as I should. All right. Any questions on anything I've gone over thus far? Anything? All right. So I'm going to stop this.